First of all, I want to congratulate those of you who are here for the first time, that you've made time in your schedule to be with us and to explore an opportunity that has the potential to dramatically change your life, and it really does. I mean, that's where that video was taken is in Newport Beach, where we live part of the year, and it's right in the water and has an ocean view, and it's a long way from Chino. So there's nothing wrong with Chino. I grew up in Chino. Most of my brothers and sisters still live in Chino, but frankly, I'm glad I don't. There's another world out there that growing up in Chino, I didn't know existed, and it's amazing, really, really amazing. But there's gotcha. It takes money. It takes money. I mean, just think about all the things that you really, really want to do, like travel or whatever. It takes what? It takes money. You know, you have kids, you want to put them through college. It takes what? It takes money. You go to church, and what do they ask you for every Sunday? Money, right? It's money. And so a lot of people have a lot of psychological issues about money, and that prevents you from having any money, unfortunately. When you have hang-ups about money, or you believe the bunk that liberals tell you and media tells you that people with money are evil and all this BS, right? It's completely a distortion of reality, because, you know, the people that have money or businesses are the people that employ the majority of you that still have jobs, right? I mean, if you have a job, you're being employed by somebody who has what? More money than you have, right? Otherwise you wouldn't have that job. And this society is constantly telling us that for some reason those people are bad and evil. And I want to dispel that completely false narrative. It's not true. Are there some people that have money that aren't so good? Absolutely. But there's a lot of poor people that aren't so good too. The majority of them are in jail, right? So that has money doesn't make you bad or good or whatever. It makes you more of what you already are. So if you're an idiot, you become a bigger idiot, right? But if you're a really good person, then you become an even better person, because there's so many things you can do that can change people's lives, right? Especially the best thing is offer people opportunity. Not to give them a handout, but to give them a hand up, right? To, not to give a man a fish, but to teach him how, or teach her how to fish so they can feed themselves. And that's what Primerica is really about, is a hand up, and it's an opportunity to teach you how to, fish for yourself and create the kind of life that you dream of. That's a bit, to me, I've been in Primerica now for almost 30 years. So I started when I was 26, and I'm 55 now. And so I've been doing this a long time. And a lot of you have seen it or maybe heard about it or whatever, but if you're not involved, then you just have gotten the wrong person talking to you about it. A person that doesn't know what they're talking about or isn't able to articulate what we do and how phenomenal it is what we do in a way that you can see that this is really special, because it is really special. I mean, think about the environment today with the recognition and everybody excited and all that. Is that happening at your job right now? Do you have the opportunity to get recognized at your job right now? Probably not. Right now, you're just hanging on, a lot of you, and hoping your company doesn't go out of business because of the looming huge taxes that are about to hit us in January. Or you're not really seeing raises. You're glad you have a job. That's a lot of people are in that position right now. And what this meeting's about today is to show you, say, hey, look, there's another way for you to go. You don't have to accept flat income. You don't have to accept a ceiling of income over your head. You don't have to accept, not having the kind of home you really want, or driving the kind of car you really want, or sending your kids to the schools you really want, or traveling and vacation the way you really want. So how many of you are living in your dream house, wait, don't raise your hand, are living in your dream house, driving your dream car, and traveling exactly the way you want to be traveling right now, and vacationing as much as you want to? Raise your hand if you're doing all those things. One person, two people. There's about 2,000 people here. What that doesn't illustrate the opportunity you have at Primerica, because you have an ability to offer all those things to people, for the potential for all that's here. If that doesn't illustrate how big of an opportunity, when you have 2,000 people sitting in this audience and 2 people raise their hands to that question, there's nothing I could say that's more profound than that, honestly. I can't imagine saying anything else that would say, look, this opportunity is so gigantic. And right now, because the economic environment is so bad, unemployment in California is really close to 12%. In reality, it's probably closer to 20%, because they don't count the people that have stopped looking for jobs. The reality, unemployment rate in the United States is not 8.5%, it's about 11%, because they don't count the people that have stopped looking for jobs, that have just given up. They don't count those people. And if you count the underemployed, the people that are not making as much as they want to make, that number goes up to about 20%. So don't believe the spin you hear from the media about that. It's not good out there, but it's good in here. Okay? And we have solutions. Look, a good friend of mine, Dr. Robert Anthony, has written so many tremendous books about thinking and success. He told me, he goes, Hector, money flows. Listen to this, okay? How many want money flowing to them? You want money flowing to you? Okay. He says, money flows to those people who solve other people's most pressing problems. Let me repeat that, because this is important that you understand this, because if you're wondering, how can I make more money? You got to look at problems as opportunity as opposed to how everybody else looks at them. Problems, when you have the solution, become amazing opportunities. So we got a problem. People aren't making enough money out there, are they? No. People are wanting to make more money. People are wanting to save more money. People are wanting to do a lot of things, okay? So we have the solution. We have a thing called the financial needs analysis. I don't know if they mentioned that already today or not, but it's a financial needs analysis. It's a plan that we sit down with families, and we show them an in-writing, concrete, specific plan that allows that family to start moving in the direction that they want to move in financially, where they can start eradicating their debt, saving money, moving towards freedom, right? Because the reality, none of you will ever be free. None of you. Until you really, I mean free, really free. Most of you are not free right now, and I understand, I've been there, okay? But there's a way out of that. None of you will ever be truly free. Really, if you have a pen, write this down. You will never be truly free until you have no debt, and I mean no house payments, no car payments, no debt, and you have enough money saved and invested that it provides passive income that allows you to live whatever standard of life you'd like to have. You're never going to be free. As long as you have to work to make money so that you can live, eat, live in a house, whatever, you're not free. If you have to work, then you're not free. Unfortunately, most people they don't ever become free, right? And so that FNA, even if you don't ever become a representative, can allow you to get free at some point, but it's the slow way. The FNA might take 20, 25, 30 years before you get free. Starting a Primerica business, increasing your income substantially. If you could start making an extra $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month, or maybe you went full time, you start making $10,000 a month or $20,000 a month or $30,000 a month, right? Then you can start really paying off debt and saving money like crazy, right? If you could really increase your income substantially, you could eradicate debt relatively quickly, and you could start saving a lot of money, and then you could be free. But as long as your income is stagnant or does not have the potential to really grow, then freedom is an illusion. It's not going to happen for you. And I don't want to depress you, but I want to point out the good news is that you're at a place here today and you're witnessing an opportunity that could change all that for you really, really quickly. But you have to make a decision, right? You're going to make one of two decisions today. You're going to make a decision to get involved and see if this works for you or not, or you're going to make a decision, all right, it sounds good, but I'll think about it and you'll go do something else. So you're going to make a decision. Even if you think you're not making a decision, you're going to make a decision today to get involved, give it a shot, see if it works for you, or to do nothing. Every decision that we make in our lives has a consequence, doesn't it? If you make a decision to eat too much, what's the consequence? You gain weight. If you make a decision to drink too much, you ruin relationships. You maybe lose your job. Lots of problems come up with that, right? If you make a decision to just keep doing what you've always been doing, that has a consequence too. You keep getting what you've always been getting, right? If you make a decision, say, look, this is an opportunity. I don't really know anything about it enough yet. I don't know if I can do it or not. I don't know if it's right for me or not. I don't know. But I will never know unless I give it a shot. And the cost to get started is still $99, right? You know, to start a financial service business like Primerica costs $99. That's what your investment would be. If you can't afford $98, you really need to do this, okay? You know, when somebody says, I can't afford $99, you got problems. So, but $99 to start a business has the potential to pay you millions of dollars, right? Folks, I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and I've been paid over $60 million since I've been in Primerica. Not $60,000, $60 million. Okay, don't clap. I'm not giving you any of it, okay? But that is the opportunity you're looking at. Look, I grew up in Chino, right down the street. I was just dropped my wife off at her mom's house. She lives on 3rd Street in Chino, right by Gerd Elementary School. If anybody's from Chino, you know where that's at, okay? I grew up on 10th Street between C and D and Chino. I grew up in a 1,000 square foot home. I have 6 brothers and sisters, so there's 7 kids. My mom and dad makes 9 in a 1,000 square foot home with a bathroom the size of this podium with 5 women in it. Okay? My father's a Mexican immigrant, had a 3rd grade education. My mom had a 9th grade education. And we didn't have any money. And there's nobody in my family, immediate family, extended family. You know how big Mexican Catholic families are, right? There's no birth control. Nobody in my family. Everybody was an employee. Nobody ever owned their own business. Nobody went to college. Nobody was successful financially. Nobody, not one person. And I come from a huge family. My mom just recently passed away. There's a lot of people there, family, and not one of them is financially successful. I mean, they're doing, some are doing okay, but I mean really successful. So I didn't have anybody in my family to look at to say, oh, I could be like them, or I could do that, they did it, I know them. I didn't have that. So just because you don't come from a successful family doesn't mean you can't change that trend in your family. There's nothing stopping you from becoming successful except yourself. But there's a gotcha when it comes to becoming successful. And it requires a few things. Okay? You got to write these down because this is critical. And even if you don't do it, if you don't have the desire or whatever, the motivation or whatever to do it, maybe your kids might. It might be something you might want to teach your kids. But I've been studying success relentlessly for really since I was, since I was in high school probably. Actually, since I was in grade school, I didn't even realize I was studying it, but I used to read autobiographies of successful athletes. So I've been studying success really since I'm probably 8 or 9 years old. So, it's like over 45 years I've been studying success. And what I've discovered is really successful people. I don't mean somebody that makes $100 grand a year and they're doing okay. Now that to me doesn't mean success to me. I mean, when you're doing really, really well, $100 grand a year in California, you're just basically getting by. You're not really doing that great. Any major city, you're not doing great. If you live in New York City, $100 grand a year is poverty level almost. So it doesn't really mean that much. And I don't mean to be condescending. I'm just telling you it's a fact. Okay. Most couples in California, if you're doing just decent between the husband and the wife working, they're probably making 80, 100, 110, 120 grand a year. They're not living like kings, right? You're still not saving a lot of money. You're still not doing phenomenally well. You're doing okay. You're surviving. Maybe a nice vacation once a year or something like that, but nothing special. So, but what it takes, there's some characteristics, because look, you're going to have to, if you're going to even do Primerica, you have to develop these characteristics that I'm going to mention right now. And if you're going to do anything, even if it's not Primerica, you still have to develop these characteristics, because it's what all really successful people have, the kind of characteristics they have. When you look at people, right, that are doing really poorly, they have characteristics. Would you agree with that? Somebody that's struggling and not doing well and constantly having money issues, do they have characteristics? Yes. And people that are doing really, really well, they also have characteristics. And those are the people that you should be paying attention to and studying. What are they doing? What are they like? What do they think like? What do they read? What do they listen to? Who do they associate with? Those are all critical things that you should be paying attention to. If you have children, I have a son and a daughter that are 32 and 33. My wife and I jammed, you saw in the video, we were Nazis relative to who they associated with. I mean, who they associated with was not optional. Who their friends were with when they were little, we made sure what their families were like. We wanted to meet their parents. We wanted to meet them and see who they were. I did not want, because I understood this a long time ago, I didn't want my kids associated with anybody that weren't good people. Not necessarily wealthy, successful, but I mean good people, right? Don't you want your kids associated with other good kids, right? Because who you associate is who you become. If you notice, those of you who hang around with a certain group of people, you all talk alike. You do. You have the same kind of things you say, right? Gangbangers have a way of talking, right? Nerds have a way of talking, right? Athletes have a way of talking. Everybody has a way of communicating. You communicate like the people you associate with most. So if you have kids, you want to make sure that they're, as long as you can do it, you want to control that as much as you can. Because if you can get them through 16, 17, 18, and they have the right foundation, there's a pretty good chance they're going to do well. If you don't pay attention to that, then things can go wrong. So, number one, for super success, is you've got to have amazing work ethic. It can't be like, I don't really feel like doing that today. People that become successful, they don't feel like doing all the stuff they have to do either. But you know what they do? They do it anyways. They don't want to study. Who wants to study for tests and exams? Do you ever like studying for exams in high school? I didn't. Okay? But if you want to get a good grade, right? If you want to succeed, if you want to go on to college, if you want to do well, then you've got to study. But who wants to study? When you could watch TV, or you could, be on the internet, or you could be tweeting, or you could be doing all kinds of other things, right? Facebook, I mean, what a scam that is, right? Facebook, all this stuff. Then, you'd much rather be doing that. For me, when I was a kid, I would have rather been playing basketball or playing football, or riding with Kurt would have rather playing soccer than studying. Who the hell wants to study when you could be doing something that you really have fun doing? But you know what? If you want to be successful, that's what you do. In Primerica, guess what? You have to study. How many of you wish you would have paid more attention, studied harder when you were going to school? Right, the majority of you, the rest of you are liars. Okay? You do. You wish you would have done more, right? I mean, everybody does. So you've got to have great work ethic. The second thing you have to have super self-discipline. Again, because most of the stuff that it takes to be successful is stuff that we really don't want to do. In Primerica, you got to prospect. I'm going to talk about that a little more. You got to prospect. You got to make phone calls. You got to get your car and drive to people's homes. You got to sit down. You got to share information. You got to do stuff. You got to face rejection. Do you know if you're here, whoever invited you probably got rejected 10 or 20, 30 times to get you here. To get, like for every one of you that's here, the person that invited you probably invited 10 people to get you here, which means he or she got rejected 10 times. You with me? So you've got it, rejection is part of that thing. So self-discipline, to keep going, it takes a lot of self-discipline to do the right things day in and day out. You know, one of the things I see a big to me is a tragedy in Primerica. I see people starting to have a lot of success in Primerica. They start doing well. They start making like 10 grand a month, 15, 20 grand a month. But then they don't have the self-discipline to continue to do the things that got them there, and then the business just kind of plateaus out or actually goes backwards. And that, you know what that is? It's just they have a self-discipline issue. It's not that they have a talent issue. They have a self-discipline issue. They can't get themselves to keep doing what it is that allowed them to start having success in the first place. They stop doing it. These are good people. They're not bad people. They just, for whatever reason, maybe they don't have a clear set of goals. That they don't know exactly what they want. They don't know what they're trying to accomplish. So then any little wind that comes blows them off course. I don't know. But you got to have self-discipline. I don't know why I'm self-disciplined, but I am. I don't know why I know why I have great work ethic. Because my dad worked two jobs my entire childhood until I got married and left home. My dad worked in a factory where they made toilets, sinks, and all that, a place called Norris Industries in the city of Industry. He worked there for I don't know how many years, 25, 30 years, and he was a barber. He cut hair after work and Saturday and Sunday, and my dad worked 7 days a week until I left home. 7 days a week my entire life. And if I ever was sitting down watching TV on a Saturday, you know, he'd be pissed off. He said, get your ass up, go wash the car, go cut the grass, go paint the eaves of the house, go do something, but you're not sitting your ass watching TV, that's for damn sure. Anybody who grew up with a dad like that? I hated it. I hated it. And thank God my dad taught me that. Thank God he was tough. Thank God he didn't let me be a lazy ass. Because I got wealthy because of that. And then you gotta be persistent. Look, you're not gonna learn everything overnight. You're just not. You're not. Look. Jatinder and Sadhbajaj, where are you guys at? Where are you? Right? Oh, you're right. There's Jatinder. Jatinder's son, Tarun, right? Just graduated and became a surgeon. Okay, he's a surgeon. Jatinder's one of my RVPs. Jatinder's son. Is he doing his residency now, or what's he going to do? He's done with his residency, his surgery residency. Now he's doing his fellowship, right? So how long has he been, including undergraduate in this, how long has he been studying to be a surgeon?
32. He's been out of the house 14 years.
Okay, for 14 years, his son, just this last weekend, right? His son, for 14 years, not 14 weeks, not 14 months, 14 years has been studying, and I know that cost you an S-load of money to put him through school, right? That was not cheap. Again, what? Takes what? Money. If you want your kid to become a surgeon, you better be making some money, okay? And I doubt he has a lot of loans. You know, I don't know, does he have any loans? It's all paid for, right? So now, he doesn't have any loans. Why? Because his dad makes and saves money. That's a Primerica surgeon. Well, I don't know how it's going to affect my kids. That's how it's going to affect your kids. That's how it's going to affect your kids. 14 years. Folks, when I started Primerica in January of 1984, by 1988, the end of 88, I was completely debt-free and I was totally financially independent. It took me 60 months. My first year I made $18,000. I was part-time. I did it part-time because I still had my job, right? One of the great, amazing things about Primerica is you don't have to quit your job. I didn't quit my job until I felt ready to quit my job. So that first year, doing it part-time, 2 days a week, I made an extra $18,000. What would an extra $18,000 for you feel like and be like over the next 12 months? Extra. This is above and beyond your job income. If you were to get an $18,000 raise on Monday morning, would you be excited? Well, why don't you give your own damn self one? Huh? There's nothing stopping you from giving yourself a raise. You got to get started, but you can do that. I think you do better than that. Kurt, what did you make your first year? Kurt Joyner made $37,000 his first year in Primerica. 37, an extra 30. For a lot of you, that may be more than you're making at your job right now. That would be like getting a 100% raise. Is that possible? It's more possible today than it was then because we didn't hardly even do securities. Our average premium was like $500-600. Now it's $1,000. I mean, it's so much better now. It's ridiculous. But you got to do some things. You got to have great work ethic, which he has, and you got to have self-discipline, which he has as well. And then you got to be persistent, which he was too. You got to be persistent. You can't. You know what most people do. You got to become a tunneler. You guys know what a tunneler is? A tunneler, I know Kurt does, he's probably got the book I told him to read, right? A tunneler is a person that no matter what happens, they just keep moving forward. No matter what everybody on the outside looks like, oh, you ought to quit, you ought to give up, they don't have that in their DNA. They just keep moving forward regardless of what's happening around them. That's what a tunneler is. You need to become a tunneler. Really what it is mega persistence. That's what it is. You want to be really successful? You got to be a tunneler. You got to be mega persistent. And then the next thing is you got to develop really good people skills. And I was very fortunate because I grew up, my dad had amazing people skills. He had just incredible, my dad used to cut hair, so you'd have all these people every Saturday and Sunday. They'd start knocking on our kitchen door. We're having breakfast at 7 a.m. Roberto, estás ahí? And they would knock on the door, and then he would start cutting hair. So around 7 o'clock, so it got dark, he was cutting hair all day, Saturday and Sunday. And there would be 10, sometimes 5, 10, 15 men sitting in our garage, right, waiting to get their hair cut, drinking beer while they're doing that, and socializing, right? It was like a social club, right? And I used to be there, and I used to watch this, and I used to watch the way my dad was with people, and how much they loved him, and how great he was. He just loved people. He was funny. He liked to make jokes, and he just loved having a good time. And he loved people, and he made people feel special. And I got to see that growing up. So I have good people skills because of him, and plus a lot of things I read. So if you didn't grow up with a parent like that, some of you, I'm sure, have parents that have amazing people skills. And if you didn't, there's Les Giblin, Skill with People. There's How to Win Friends Influence by Dale Carnegie. There's all kinds of stuff on how to develop, but you've got to develop people skills because you can't get people to join or follow you, especially long range, unless people like you. If people don't like you, you know what they do? They sabotage you. Okay? And they talk about you in the way you don't want to be talked about. And you know who I'm talking about, right? You know people like that aren't very nice people, that don't have good people skills. Do you like being around them? You like getting a phone call from them? Do you like anything about them? No. Right? Negative is repelling and positive is attractive. Okay? That's a natural law. So what you've got to do, if you want to build a great business, you've got to have good people skills. You've got to learn how to make people feel special. You've got to learn how to see the best in people. You have to learn how to look at people and not see who they are right now, but who they can be with some work, some self-discipline, some persistence. Right? So that first year I made $18,000. Second year I made $35,000. I started to get a clue. I didn't figure this out. It took me about 3 really hard, focused years. 3 focused years to figure out how to do this. So it wasn't like I all of a sudden did it and I became a superstar, right? I was learning how to do it just like any of you are going to have to learn how to do it. And it took me 3 years. The third year, I made $86,000, which then I could start seeing light at the end of the tunnel. You know what happened after that third year? I started getting really good at training and developing people. That's what I got really good at. That's what I paid all my attention to. You know, the real key to becoming super successful in Primerica. I said this, and I'm going to kind of condense it into a really simple thing. When you're able to, like a lot of you in here, how many of you, when you get on a good appointment with a really qualified family, close, say, over 70% of those people? Okay, so there's quite a few of you that are able to do that, okay? So if you can do that, you can make $1 million a year here. Easily. It's not that difficult. And if you're not making a lot of money, let me tell you why. If you've been around a long time and you're not making a lot of money, I'll tell you why. Right? The reason is that for whatever reason, you haven't developed the ability or you haven't paid attention or focused on transferring, this is the key, you need to be able to transfer the skills you've developed and the knowledge you've acquired in a clear, concise way that allows your motivated people, not everybody, your motivated people to be able to duplicate what you are able to do. If you can do that, if you pay strict attention to that, if you work overtime to master how to do that, there's nothing that can stop you from making $1 million a year here at Primerica. The problem is most people never really pay enough attention to that. They don't get good at doing that. Now, you're not going to learn how to do that overnight, but you've got to be striving to figure out how can I pass on the skill sets, the closing, the appointment setting, the presenting, the overcome objections, all the things, right? How can I pass that skill along to my people in the clearest way? And how can I pass the knowledge of like how cash value works, how mutual funds work, how all this stuff, the knowledge that I have so that they can go out and close business, recruit people, close business, train people like I'm able to. That was the question that I asked myself 10 times a day for years and years and years. And I got really, really good at doing that. Okay? As a result, I have 10,000 agents in my organization now. That does, we do somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 life insurance sales every month. And somewhere between 15 and 30 or 40 million dollars a month in investments. And we recruit a couple thousand, sometimes 2,500 new agents every month. Most of which do nothing. Okay? But that's not different from any other sales organization, folks. You know how people get the real estate license and never sell a house? The 90%. Okay, so this is not any different. Since people never develop the skill sets, they never acquire the knowledge, they never do the work. They don't have what? Work ethic. They don't have self-discipline. They don't have persistence, and their people skills aren't so good. Have you noticed when you go buy stuff how bad salespeople are out there? Have you guys ever noticed that? Have you noticed like when you go into most restaurants, the waiters are not that good? I mean, when you get a really good waiter, it's like, wow, it's exciting, right? It's like it almost never happens, right? Or you go into a retail store. The other day I was trying to, we're going on a trip and I was buying a new camera. In fact, I bought two new cameras. I bought a little small Sony camera, right? And I bought a bigger SLR type camera. And I went to Best Buy and I spent about $1,100 on cameras and stuff, maybe $1,200. I don't know what it was. Okay, so I'm live, all right? I'm qualified. I couldn't get anybody that could help me. And if they tried to help me, they didn't know their product. They didn't know how to explain why this is better than that. They couldn't tell me. And then they would start helping me, and then they'd leave me and go talk to somebody else. Right in the middle of when I'm trying to spend $1,200 with these people. Best Buy. By the way, they're probably going to go out of business not too distant future, okay? I wonder why. Okay, so what's the problem with this? It's training. And you know why people, you go, well, I had a friend who tried Primerica, a brother, sister, cousin, whatever, tried it, they didn't do it. You know why? No work ethic, no self-discipline, no persistence, poor people skills, and they didn't learn what to do. It's not because there's something wrong with Primerica, because there's all kinds of people doing well at Primerica, right? So whenever I would see somebody would tell me that, they said, I had no idea. I said, well, what's wrong? When I have a friend, a cousin, brother that did this, tried this, and they didn't do it, I said, you know what I always say? What's wrong with them? Because there's nothing wrong with Primerica. There has to be something wrong with them. Because when you have all kinds of people succeeding in Primerica, we have, like 2,500 people making over $100,000 a year. We have 60 people making over $1 million a year. There's nothing wrong with Primerica. There's something wrong with them. So I never like, oh really, what happened? Oh, get all panicky. I just say there's got to be something wrong with them because Primerica works. There's just too much evidence. Can't refute it. And it's not just like one kind of person that succeeds. Men, women, Hispanics, African Americans, Indians, anybody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a college education or not. It doesn't matter, right? In fact, all the people that I have that make $1 million a year, I think of like 6 or 7 people that make over $1 million a year that I've trained or had some part training, and not one of them has a college education. Not one of them. So that obviously isn't a criteria, right? So you're thinking, well, I'm not educated. Well, do you have great work ethic? Do you have self-discipline? Are you persistent? Do you have decent people skills? That's all we're looking for. We're not looking for a college education. We're not looking that you grew up on the right side of the tracks and from the right family. We're not looking that you went to the right college. I don't care about that. Because nobody cares about anything but results. In the real world, the only thing that matters is results. All the other stuff is BS, okay? All of it. Right now, I'm a golf psychotic, okay? I own 4 country club memberships. 1 in Las Vegas, 1 in Palm Desert, and 2 in Newport Beach. And right now the U.S. Open's happening. And it's at the Olympic Club in San Francisco. If you don't follow golf, it doesn't matter, okay? Guess who's leading? Tiger Woods, okay? Now, there are some parts of Tiger's life I would never emulate, okay? I wouldn't suggest it to emulate at all, okay? But his work ethic, his self-discipline, his persistence, that's something that's worth copying, mimicking, following. Personal life, stay away, okay? But what's happening is he's leading that. It's really, really hard. And he's the most prepared. He's worked the hardest. He just does. I know people who know Tiger, who have known, they're close friends with him. And the one common, I played golf with Fred Couples about a year ago. And he's pretty good friends with Tiger Woods. And I asked him, I said, why do you think Tiger's so good? And he said, well, I'll give you an example. He took lessons from a guy named Butch Harmon, who's the #1 teacher in golf in the world. Butch Harmon, he's in Vegas. He teaches like Phil Mickelson and Ernie Els and a lot of people that are really good, okay? And he used to work with Tiger. And Tiger should have never left, but he did, for whatever reason, I don't know. But the bottom line is, he said, I was asking Butch Harmon that question, why is he so good? He said, because he'll work on something, like, for example, he'll work on a short game. He'll work on a short game 8 hours a day for 5 days in a row. I mean, just hitting chips, pitches, little short, which gets monotonous after a while. And Fred said, I've never worked on that much in my entire career, let alone in a week. He says that's what he does. And then another friend, John Cook, is a friend of his. So I'm telling you these stories because I'm trying to give you an insight of why is he so great. Because people think these people are lucky, right? That they're just naturally talented. BS, okay? It doesn't have anything to do with that. And so John Cook said, one day I was going out to play with my son. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, and so we went to go play a round. A round takes about 4 hours, right? He says he was hitting 9 irons on the range. And there's when you hit balls, you take turf out, right? So there's a little small turf out like that. They came back 4 hours later, and the hole of the dirt was like this big. And he was still hitting 9 irons for 4 hours. There is no such thing as luck when it comes to true success. None. And you better get that out of your noggin that you think some people are lucky and some people aren't. That is complete BS. That is crap. Don't you listen to anybody that tells you that. The reason, I'll tell you one of the reasons I don't speak a lot anymore, and I don't speak for the company almost never, because what I'm talking to you about right now, nobody wants to hear that. They want to just be motivated. Well, that's criminal to tell people they don't have to work, they don't have to be disciplined, that they don't have to have work ethic, because it's a complete lie. Would you tell your kids, oh, don't worry, you don't have to be self-disciplined, you don't have to have work ethic, you don't have to, be persistent, you can just, whenever you feel like quitting, quit. Is that what you would tell your kids? When they struggle a little bit? When it didn't happen exactly like they wanted to? Well, why would you think it'd be any different for you? So what are the key things you got to master, all right? How much time do I have, buddy? Okay. I hope this is making sense. And I hope it's making sense for people that have never been to a Primerica event, because the things that I generally talk about are not normal in this business, okay? Because everybody's trying to make everybody feel like everything's really simple, it's really easy. It's simple, it's just not easy. You want to make a lot of money? You're going to have to work, okay? I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is, okay? So, and I'm going to tell you another reason why most people never succeed on a grand scale, because performance matters. Your nationality, your race, your religion, your sexual orientation, political views, your looks, your net worth, your opinions don't matter. The only thing that matters is your performance. Period. In a sales-oriented business where you have to get results, that is more true than ever, okay? All the other stuff that everybody blames or excuses they have for not succeeding, they don't hold water here, folks. In the end, if you're going to succeed at whatever you decide on doing, you've got to get results. You've got to perform. Period. End of story. Although I was saying with Tiger, he was making $100 million a year for the last several years until he did that stupid thing he did, right? But the bottom line is, performance is what counts. You've got to be able to get results. Apple Computer, what do they get? They get results. Okay? They produce great quality products. Right? So they get results. One of the reasons Facebook flopped, that IPO was one of the largest IPOs, you know why it flopped? Because they don't get results. Everybody found out, you know what, they don't really make any money. It was all hype. They're not getting results at Facebook. The advertising, which is really supposed to have this much money, it's not anywhere close. As a matter of fact, right before it went public, General Motors took away a $10 million ad buy that they were going to buy, because you know why? Because they don't get results. In the end, if you really want to keep your job, really, you make yourself invaluable. How do you do that? By getting results. So these are the 7 things you've got to master in our business. The reason I'm telling you this, even if you're new, is because once you know this, then all you have to decide, either I'm going to master these things or I'm not. If you don't, good luck. The chances are you won't be here long range. If you do, then the chances are overwhelmingly that you're going to do well, and you're going to make money, and you're going to be successful, okay? The first thing you've got to learn how to do is prospect, okay? And most people, if you've never been in the sales business, you don't really know what prospect means. You know what prospect means? It's simply this. It's talking to people about the Primerica opportunity and as a client and as a representative. That's it. If you talk to people, like for them to get you here, if you're new, first time, they prospected you. What did? They talked to you about this meeting, they talked to you about Primerica, and you came. Right? If you're here for the first time, that's what happened. You were prospected. Don't you feel horrible? Aren't you angry at them right now for prospecting you? Bringing you to this horrifying meeting? And most people are afraid of prospecting. It's ridiculous. You talk to people all day long. Why don't you talk to them about something that could truly help them? Like our financial needs in us, like our opportunity. Why would you be... It always has boggled my mind that people feel uncomfortable, bad about talking to people about something that could radically change your life in a positive way. It still doesn't compute that people have a problem with that here. It's crazy. But they do. A lot of you do. It's ridiculous, but you do. And I'll tell you why. Because some people say, no, thank you, I'm not interested. And when you hear, no, thank you, I'm not interested, you think, I'm a loser. They don't like me. I'm just a big loser. That's the way you feel about yourself. It's ridiculous. People get prospected for all kinds of things all the time. And they say no all the time. It doesn't mean anything. What it really means is you haven't done a good enough job explaining to them why this is great, why they should look at it, and what the benefit for them is, right? Number 2, setting an appointment. Once you prospect, you get a person's name and number, you got to call them on the phone and set an appointment. So you got to get good at setting appointments. I don't have time to go into how to do that, but we have all 14 million scripts on how to set appointments, okay? So it's something you can learn. It's not hard to learn. It's just words. By the way, all of this, all of Primerica, to be really, really successful, is simply speaking words. You don't have to get a shovel and dig a hole. You don't have to wash a car. You don't have to do anything that's really very uncomfortable. You have to talk to people. And you do it every damn day anyways. Why not make some money doing it? Right? We talk all day long. You're going to leave here, you're going to talk, I heard that guy, that Hector guy talking, he wasn't that good. I don't get it. Right? Or whatever. You're going to talk about stuff, and you talk. But most of the stuff people talk about is useless. It doesn't move them anywhere close to the direction they want to go. It's just blah, 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 blah. You don't have any friends like that talk, and say nothing? Right? Number 3, then once you get the appointment, you got to sit down. You guys do a presentation earlier?
Yes.
Okay, that presentation essentially is what you do. You do that presentation that showed you earlier. It's not that big a deal. It's a few pages, and you just got to learn what to say. How do you learn it? Practice it. Just practice. Anybody ever watch American Idol? I love American Idol. Does anybody watch American Idol? Have you ever watched it? Would you tell the truth and say yes? Because everybody on the planet watches American Idol, okay? Oh, I don't want them too embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. I think it's one of the greatest shows on TV. You know why? Because it's competition, and you got to get results, and you got to be good. And even if you're not good enough, they just get rid of your behind, and it's just awesome to me. I love it. Okay, it's like sports, and you got to be tough. And you have great work ethic, because those kids work like crazy to learn. And I always say, how do they learn those songs every week? Sometimes they're learning new songs they've never sung before, and they learn those songs and they don't mess up the words. How do they do that? How do they do that? They practice. And they practice, and they practice, and they practice, and they practice until they have it down so they don't get on national TV and look like an idiot. And the people that get good in Primerica, they practice and they practice and they practice, so when they get at a kitchen table, they don't look like an idiot. And if you're not willing to practice, which is all comes down to self-discipline and work ethic, then guess what? You don't deserve to be successful. It's that simple. It's really that simple. And then 4, you got to overcome the most common objections. You know what they are? I want to think about it. I'm not a salesperson. I don't make decisions the first night. I don't think I have time. You know how many times I've heard those stupid excuses? Thousands. And that's all they are, is excuses. What you're really saying is, I'm afraid. Somebody might say no to me. What will my brother think? What will my aunt think? What will my cousin think? What will my friends think? You think you're a loser right now, probably, okay? But if you're going to be successful, you got to stop caring. I don't mean that. I apologize for that statement. That's not very nice. But they're not thinking, I want my kids to turn out like you, probably. They're not probably thinking that. Okay? The truth is, if you want to become really successful, there's one other thing I forgot to mention. You have to stop, and I mean stop, thinking, worrying about what other people think of you. The number one disease I see that inhibits success, that stops people from being successful. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, folks. The number one thing by a country mile is that people worry way too much about what other people think about them. And it stops you from doing so many things that could improve your life. Some of you right now are thinking, well, if I get involved in this and I got to call my friend or my cousin, what are they going to think about me? I can't do that. What do they think about me? They're going to think I'm trying to sell them something. They're going to think I'm trying to use our relationship to try to sell them something. Oh my God, what if they think that my life will be over? Life's not going to be over. If you're going to go there and show them how to completely get out of debt, you're going to show them how to save money so they can retire 5, 10, 15 years sooner, you're going to show them how to have a better quality of life, and maybe show them how to start their business of their own and make a bunch of money, why would you be worrying about what they think about you? It's ludicrous. Think about that. See, that's the way I thought about it. But most people don't think about it. All they think about, what will they think about me? Think of all the stuff you haven't done, haven't said, haven't tried, because of you worrying about what they might think about you in your life. You've missed out on so many amazing, probably chances, opportunities, whatever, because of that. It's sad. So, you got to know, number 5, you got to know everything there is to know about our products. Look, if you're going to start selling our products and services, you got to know how they work. You got to know how our insurance products work, how our investment product works, how our debt elimination products work. You got to learn how they work. How do you learn that? By studying, by practicing, by studying. All this stuff it's not rocket science. Look, a 12-year-old that's somewhat motivated can learn how to do this. It's really that simple. It seems like it's complicated because you've never seen it before, but everything that you've ever done that you hadn't done before seems the same way. You just got to apply yourself. Give yourself a chance to learn it. Put the effort forward. Master it. And when I say master, you got to know it up, down, sideways, every which way. You can't just kind of gloss over it like you're reading People magazine. Okay? Number 6, you got to learn how to recruit new people into the business. And when the people that invited you, you know what they're trying? You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to recruit you. Shh! Don't tell anybody. What's wrong with that? Kurt, are you glad you got recruited? Rick, are you glad you got recruited? Jatinder, Tarun's glad you got recruited. My kids, I guarantee you they're glad I got recruited. Okay? I'm glad I got recruited. My wife's really glad I got recruited. And then you got to be able to train them. You got to teach them how to do this. You got to teach them so they can earn income, develop the ability to train their own people, and build a team. It's how you grow your business. It's how you grow your income in a significant way. It's how it's done. Look at these things, these statistics, really quickly about careers in the United States. Right? This is from the U.S. Bureau of Statistics, over half of employees are dissatisfied with their jobs or careers. You know what that 50% of people that are dissatisfied with their jobs and careers are? They're prospects. If you learn how to do this well, those people are all potential prospects to join your business. In the next 6 months, 60% of workers will search for another job. That means 60% of the people right now would like to have another job or opportunity. They're prospects. So who do I talk to? You live in Southern California, there's like 20 million people in a 2-hour radius. What do you mean, who do you talk to? Do you guys ever drive on the freeway? You see how many damn people are on the freeway every day? You think they're excited about their jobs and their lives? No way. The vast majority of 50 to 60% are looking for something else. They just don't know this exists. The typical worker in the U.S. will have 9 different jobs by their age 32. So why not try this? They're going to have 9 anyways. Why not be one of them be this? Finances, typical American. Most people in the U.S. live paycheck to paycheck. Look. Most of you, if I asked you, how much did you write a check for? That's liquid cash that you could write a check for right now that wouldn't bounce? I know you could write any amount, but I mean that would actually get cashed. For the vast majority, it's not very much. What does it tell you about the current opportunity or job or career you're in if it's not very much? Almost 45% have less than $25,000 in savings and investments set aside for retirement, excluding their primary residence, which right now those are down 40%. So there's no equity in houses right now either. Thank you, Mr. You know who. Financial stress is a leading cause of divorce. Think about how much you talk about money with your spouse, the lack of money, to do the things you want to do for yourselves and for your kids. Think about how much you talk about that. It's not because you have too much money, right? It's because there's not enough. Over 50% of Americans always or sometimes worry about their finances. I believe it's much higher than that based on my 30 years in this business and sitting with thousands of families over the last 30 years. I think it's way more than that. Expectations. We live in a culture of low expectations where mediocrity is accepted as normal. It's as if most people believe that our actions have no material consequence. We must change for things to change. As the saying goes, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again while expecting different results. What today is about is about raising your expectations for you and your family. It's about not accepting mediocrity. It's about becoming the person you know deep down you're capable of becoming. And all of you, don't you feel in you're somewhere in there that your life's supposed to be more than this what it is right now? Don't you feel that way, honestly? Have you ever allowed yourself to feel that way? What today is about raising, it's about creating a life that's full of opportunity, exciting adventures. It's about building a business that will take you places you've never imagined you could go. It's about building something that has the potential to take care of you and your family for generations. The $1 million question is, how much effort and energy are you willing to expend? Because that's what it all comes down to. Many others have done it. A lot of them are here today. They're here to show you and lead you while helping you to do it for you and your family. Kurt Joyner, Rick Miller, Chuck Negrete, Mike Mendoza, Jatinder, Martin, and a bunch of other people that I've not mentioned your name, but there's a bunch of people here that are willing to help you. So look, as the saying goes, if you want to become successful, surround yourself with successful people. Well, right now you basically are surrounded by a lot of successful people. Where you physically place yourself influences your life's outcomes. Where you are the places leading. Where you are right now are the places leading you to a positive outcome in your life. I don't know. Look, your current life situation. I know I'm reading this, but I wrote this in the last couple of days preparing for this. I just wanted to make sure I shared this information with you. I said, your current life situation is a result of every thought, decision, conversation, behavior, action you've taken in your life. Yes, there are some circumstances beyond our control. I know that happens. But don't waste your time worrying about circumstances that are out of your control when improving your personal performance is what you really need to do. Focus on what you can control, which is who you associate with, the books you read, the audios you listen to, and how you spend all your available time. You know, you make a living 9 to 5, but you get rich or wealthy based on how you spend your time after 5. Nobody gets rich working 9 to 5. There's no rich person that only puts 8 hours a day in. If you think there are, you're deluding yourself. I know you know a job is never going to get you what you really want in life, but a business of your own, or growing which is growing in a dynamic field like financial services, which is Primerica, has the potential to give you everything you've ever dreamed of. It has for thousands of people like you. It has for me. The greatest deed, folks, in life is to help others succeed. To help others, we must first learn to help ourselves. Once our house is in order, we can help others to learn to help themselves. When you help others succeed, you help yourself in ways money and riches can never do. It's important to realize that you're going to make a decision today, like I said earlier. One way or the other, you're going to decide to do nothing, or you're going to decide to start your own financial service business with the help of many who've already done it before you. I know for me, the best decision I've ever made in my life from a business perspective is starting my own Primerica business. I've earned over $60 million, like I mentioned earlier. I became totally debt-free and financially independent. I put my son Dak through UCSB, which is UC Santa Barbara, and Wharton Business School, which is one of the top 1 or 2 business schools in the world. He's now an investment analyst with an amazing future. I put my daughter Janae through Stanford University at American Film Institute, where she got her master's in screenwriting. She's currently filming a full-length feature film that she wrote and she's directing. It stars Zoe Kazan, who has 3 other movies coming out. One of them is Ruby Tuesday. She's got 3. Jake Johnson, who's on the new girl that with Zooey Chanel, he stars in that. Ray Liotta, my name Ray Liotta, he's in the movie. Goodfellas and Hannibal and all other things. Folks, it's thrilling to help your children realize their dreams. Right, Tinder? Isn't it thrilling to see your kids just do great things? Helping them do that isn't free, though. Look, we like to travel. I'm going to end with this. We really like to travel. And we really like to eat well. We're foodies and we're travel junkies, okay? I love great food. There's nothing like great food, man. And people always say, well, my wife's a really good cook. She's a gourmet cook. I've never eaten a meal in anybody's home, and I've eaten a lot of them. That comes close to some of the restaurants I've eaten at. That's a BS, okay? They don't have the ability to do that because they don't have the facilities to do it, ever. Somebody says, oh, my home cooking's so much better. No, it's not. We like to travel and eat well. This year, I just want to tell you our year so far, and we're not quite halfway through the year. We spent 3 weeks in Hawaii. I played in a golf tournament there, and we just spent 3 weeks there. Then we got back and went to the Sundance Film Festival, spent a week there, rented an amazing house right by downtown Park City. My daughter had a film come out at Sundance this last year, and she was premiering, so we got to go experience that with her and her family. And then after that, we went to St. Bart's in the Caribbean. It's the most amazing place ever. The food there is it's a French island in the Caribbean. Phenomenal place. If you ever have a chance to go to St. Bart's, man, go to St. Bart's. It's amazing. A month and a half in Las Vegas, 3 weeks in Palm Desert. Last week, we're in Cabo San Lucas with our family. Had a blast there. Next month, we're going on a 15-day African safari, which has been our bucket list, It's like the top of the line African safari. It costs more than the majority of people make in a year, folks. It's going to be amazing. We're going to go to 3 different places, and we're going to have each place that you have private aircraft to take you from camp to camp. I can't wait, man. That's why I was buying these cameras, by the way. And then in October, we're going to spend 10 days in New York City. The last week of August and the first week of September, we're going to spend 2 weeks in Hawaii. We have a house there that we use with our entire family. That's the kind of life you can build for yourself, for your family. That's what this is. That's what, when you hear all this in financial services and sales and all, but really, you know what this is? It's that. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is I want you to know that that's what this is about. It's not about selling or setting an appointment, all that stuff you have to do, but why? This is the why. The why is the ability to build an amazing life. Folks, let me just tell you something. My wife, Jan, was diagnosed with breast cancer 5 years ago, last October. It's a little over 5 years. She's cancer-free. She's doing fantastic. She's super healthy. And thank God, right? And we took her to a place called Invita, which is an alternate kind of healthcare where it's no drugs and stuff like that. It's all natural. It's all cutting edge stuff. And it's really expensive, right, Kurt? And you know, it's super expensive to do that way, and the insurance doesn't pay for it. They don't recognize that. And when that happened, it's in Scottsdale, so we moved to Scottsdale while she was getting treated there for 4 or 5 months, and I rented a place there, and we were right there. And honestly, I went part-time in Primerica right after that happened because, we're not getting any younger, and we're debt-free. We don't owe anybody anything. We have 3 homes. They're all paid for. We have no debt, no debt at all. And I just figured, I don't know. You never know with that, right? So I wanted to make sure that I spent every available moment I could with my wife, who I love more than I can tell you, and more time with my family. And that's my priority today. My priority building a business was building a business, but today it's different, okay? Because we build the kind of business that has allowed me, and in that 5-year period that I have worked part-time, I've been paid close to $20 million during that time period. I haven't hardly worked. I work basically about maybe 4 to 8 hours a week and make, over $3 million a year doing that. Because of Primerica, because of the kind of business I built, because this opportunity is that good. And isn't that attractive to anybody here? I mean, am I the only one that wants that? Well, don't make the wrong choice today. Give your family a chance. Okay? Suspend your disbelief for one day. And believe that there is another option and another way to get where you want to go. Okay? Thank you very much.